Hey y'all, happy Monday. It is C with C. Thanks for coming to chat with me. As you all know, this is the Monday meetup where every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, there is always some sort of content from you for you, whether it be a live stream, a trip announcement, or a premiere of a video. So come on here. Let's chat. And today we are talking about World America, MSC World America. I am fresh off of that ship as of Saturday. So talking about like my travel day, first impressions, all those good things for World America. Let's see. First in the chat today, we have Ruby's baby saying finally made it home in time. I missed you. Missed you too in the chat, Ruby's baby. Thanks for popping in. Who else we have in here? We got On the Go Yellow saying hello, happy Monday. Yes, Yellow, happy Monday. It's been a pretty smooth, transition back to work after being off I've been off since last Thursday. Last Wednesday was my last day working. So I was like, when today came, I was sitting there like, okay, you got to do this whole get yourself dressed, pack your lunch, all of those things that I forgot how to do for a week. Can I still drive? So it was a happy Monday, and it went by pretty fast, pretty painless. So I won't complain. Miss Sydney Steffens is here. Stephen is here saying, hey, Carlene in chat. Looking forward to this MSC chat. Well, yes, tonight we are going to chat MSC. Usually what I try to do is, like I said, my name is Carlene. It's my channel, C with C. And every Monday, there is a Monday meetup, whether there be a live stream, we're talking about travel and cruising, or there's a premiere. So I am fresh off of MSC World America. You all got to see some of the content that I was able to make while on board, which pat myself on the back. This is my first time actually like working an inaugural. When I mean like working an inaugural, it's like, get on a ship, filming, creating, trying to beat the masses to putting things out, trying to capture unique views, all that good stuff. So let's give a round of applause to the content creators who do this on like a regular basis. Shout out to all the people who are on the preview and had to crank things out in crazy timelines and get their content approved. Shout out to all the people who are on the inaugural who, by the end of the day, people were like churning stuff out. So it was a cool experience. Of course, I'm going to talk today about just being a passenger, my initial thoughts on MSC World America. We have oops, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. Go back up. We have Stephanie Elaine. Stephanie's a new channel member. So welcome in, Stephanie. Stephanie gets to see a little behind the scenes. I released to channel members my experience on Cliffhanger as well as Jaw Drop, which was pretty hilarious to me watching it. And shout out to Regina and Leanne Travels, or Leanne. As a solo creator, I often don't capture a lot of myself in the frame. Like I'm usually shooting things and not really people so much, but you get other people, you get other views, things. You don't really get me behind the camera. But Regina and Leanne were so helpful with like, see, we got you, like taking the camera, taking over. So it was cool to see me like engage in some of the activities. And they caught me on that dang on Jaw Drop. And if you are a channel member and have not saw that shenanigans, it's there for you. There's also a giveaway I have for channel members I need to post. So Monet to the T is here saying happy Monday. Happy Monday, Monet. Thanks for coming here. My cruising family says, hey, Carly. Hey, my cruising family. Welcome in. Thanks for popping by. Go Big Go Ventures is in the building. Tell everyone good evening. Travel with Gail. Hey, Travel with Gail ST. I believe you are kind of new to the channel, or if you're not new to the channel, first live stream. Good to see your name in here. I guess who else we got? Gina's World is a good time to thank people because of a lot of you all. So I have some names. Because of like people like G Fox, Mickey's Adventure, Turkisha Huggins, Gina's World, Uncle Eddie, Edward Strand, Sig, Jaretha, and On the Go with Yolo. Some of these activities that I got to do on board were sponsored by some of you all, or thank you for the donations to do some of those activities. So I'm looking forward to showcasing the things that you donated to the blog. So thank y'all for making it happen. I was able to ride Cliffhanger not once, but twice. So I appreciate y'all. So thank you, Gina's World, for the super chats, and thank you for being here and speaking to everybody. My Christmas family is excited for this, tuning in from the railroad. Okay, Long Island Railroad, right? Uncle Eddie is here saying, good evening, sis, and welcome back. Thank you. MSC World America is one of those creators that I was talking about who got the initial preview of the good old MSC World America. And, I usually try not to view a ship before getting on sometimes because I want to be surprised by it. But I was taking it all the content because I was like, I needed to come with a strategy. So MSC World Adventures, Raquel was one of the content creators that was invited on board. And I know we were like all glued watching her content throughout the day. And she had like the best seat in the house for the, the naming ceremony. So we all felt like we were there thanks to content creators like Raquel and so many more who were on board. Gina's World says, great content, loved it. Yes. Seth Stone is a channel member and saying, and thank you, make sure I'm interested for being a channel member. Thank you for all the channel members. Gina's World. Seth Stone is in the building. What up, Seth Stone? It is a warm day in the DMV. I know it's a whole bunch of Metro Transit police out, so be safe out there, Seth. G Fox is in the building from the high seas. They are on Carnival Sunshine. And thank you for popping in. G was one of the people in Turkisha that had me riding that dang on Cliffhanger. And I can't wait to talk about Cliffhanger. Maybe it's a good time to talk about Cliffhanger. That little swing is deceiving. Like, although it does not make your stomach drop, because that was my first question. Like, I was good to go. Like, I was like, okay, boom. I'm gonna get on Cliffhanger and I'm all psyched up. I'm, ready to go. I'm like, it ain't gonna be that bad. There was a family of 4 in front of me. And so I got to see how they load, because they kind of loaded, on a platform. It locks you in with a bar, and then you it like rolls you up. So the seats literally kind of go like this, like up an arc off the side of the ship. Yes, it does run on sea days, so you can but I did it on a port day. I stayed on board Puerto Rico and try to do some of the upper deck activities because those are probably the only things that I had to queue in line for. So I was like, okay, cool. Got up there, did my waiver. I was good to go. Then a family of 4 went in front of me, and the little girl starts panicking. And that just all of a sudden brought a wave of nervousness over me. So I'm standing in line, and when they get done, because you don't realize how long a minute is until fear or pain or exercising is involved. That felt like a Peloton minute. So when they got down, I immediately asked them, does it make your stomach drop? And they were like, no, it doesn't make your stomach drop, but it's intense. And so I was like, okay, cool. As long as they make my stomach drop, I was okay with that. Y'all, it starts off nice and slow, but I can see Raquel exactly the minute that you kind of panicked. I think I was kind of like, oh yeah, I can see why you freaked out when you freaked out. Because it's one thing to as a kid, y'all remember we were kids and we'd be swinging on the playground and we would try to rock that joint, make the thing do circles. If we could flip it, we would have. And some kids somehow achieved making the circle. I don't know. Maybe that was a urban legend. But it was something about having the mechanical swinging. And this part wasn't bad when you were going, going back wasn't going bad. When you're going forward, literally you at point you're like this, and you can just you're almost parallel to the ground. And that was the freaky part for me. So the first time I kind of, I didn't get on camera. I panicked. I didn't I wrote it, but I got a quick out. Even though I think he still made me ride it for a minute, but he was kind of yeah, I'm bringing you back down. I didn't scream or anything, but I was just kind of okay, I'm good. stop the mechanical swinging motion. I kind of liked it just like when it was just a nice little rock. I didn't mind being up there. So lo and behold, I get down on the ground, and here around the coming corner comes Regina. And she was like, "You rode it?" I was like, "Yes." She was like, "Did you film it?" I was like, "No." She was like, "So you know you gotta get back up there again." So Regina caught me actually doing the whole ride. When I got back on, the guy was like, "You are riding this for the whole minute. I'm not bringing you down." Even though he was like watching me for all my signals. But that minute is a long time. But it's worth it. It doesn't make your stomach drop, but it's just something about when it pulls you back and you're just like, I am face forward with the port of Puerto Rico right now. That was crazy. So yes, thank you, G Fox and Turkisha, for sponsoring or donated to that the what is that called? The Cliffhanger experience. All right, let's see who else got in the chat, and then I'm gonna run my whole trip down from top to bottom, from the root to the tube. The folks are speaking. On the Go Yellow says, I understand that, always behind the camera, rarely in front. Yeah, and you like and as a solo traveler, like you get the weirdest angles. Like it'd be like your whole forehead is right here, and you're just talking to the camera. Like, it takes like extra equipment to zoom out, get away from yourself. So it was cool to get some different angles of me that my parents are probably excited to see, because I know they're just like, wow, we always just see like the side of your face and your cheek. Parkers of the Go is here saying, hey, see, happy Monday. Hey, Parkers of the Go, thanks for popping in here. Who else we got? They're asking, G, where are y'all cruising to? If they're on the Carnival Sunshine, where are y'all cruising to? Is it just Bahamas, or did the Carnival Sunshine pick up some more ports? It's Jess Renee is in the building saying happy Monday, everyone. Hey, Jess Renee, I just saw you on, before I left work, I was using my last little 30 minutes to kill some time. So I just saw you on Cruising Vibes, or not Cruising Vibes, Laura, I just gave her a new name. Vanessa Elise. Was watching some of the Melanin at Sea, her Melanin at Sea content, and saw you in the background for the Barbados vlog. Was like the last thing I did before leaving work. So cool to see you. Sydney's here. Okay. So Go says, can't wait to hear your take on World America. I booked the May 17th sailing and I'm excited. So yeah, let's get into World America. So the inaugural sailing was, at that time, I'm not sure if it's going to change, but at the point of sailing out was the only, or leaving, I believe, was the only sailing of MSC World America that was sold out. So I'm wondering if it's gonna be more spacious for you. So anywho, like I said, I booked World America back in June 2023. And I think I was like probably watching like Addie and Terry's channel, and I heard them mention MSC. I can't remember if I had already sailed Meraviglia or not. I can't recall exactly what the time frame was, but I was just kind of like, I might have sailed Meraviglia at that point. I can't remember. I believe I did sail Meraviglia, and I had an amazing time on Meraviglia. In this upcoming vlog, you're going to hear me talk about MSC. You're going to hear me talk about World America. You're going to hear me talk about Meraviglia a whole lot, because I think World America, for the most part, took the components of the Meraviglia that I really enjoy. So what I found was like the outside of the ship minus the back looks like seascape, seashore. Then the back, when it turns, of course, is like, it has a split in the back. But the inside parts remind me of a lot of like seascape, seashore also, but their exterior areas remind me of Meraviglia a ton. So I think I booked World America because I can't remember at that point World Europa was out. And at that point, I was a kind of cruiser that at that point, I was a cruiser that wasn't too keen on getting on a plane to catch a ship. And now having got on a plane to catch a ship, not got on a plane, but like going over to, Europe or a really long flight to catch a ship. So in my head, I'm like, if I take a long flight, I'm going to do land-based vacation. So I saw World Europa kind of be out, and I was like, that ship looked really nice, but I'm not going to go all the way over there for a cruise. So then they wrote out World America, and I immediately was like, sign me up. Just kind of hearing that MSC was going to be, coming on the scene, trying to, make a good impression in the US market. So that's what got me hooked on actually booking it. And I got a really good deal. I got an interior for $1,059. Then about a month or so before my sailing, they did a bid up program, and they sent me like 7 different rooms. So I guess even at that point, World America might not have been, it might not have been to capacity. Maybe it was like capacity for the inaugural, but they had a bunch of cabin categories that you could book or that you can bid on. At that point, I had did a bunch of interior cabins. So I told you I got that interior for $1,000, $1,059. So I bid about 500 more because I was like, I want sunlight. I was like, I'm tired of being these interiors after the last couple cruises. I'm like, I need some sunlight, which I'm glad I made the bid. I won the bid for the promenade, which I was excited for because that was going to be a new concept for me. Like I've done a promenade balcony on Oasis of the Seas, but I was curious about what the promenade was going to be like on World America, which I will say, shout out to MSC. The promenade balconies on World America versus like the promenade balconies on like Oasis class ships, they might kind of, be a little more appealing to me about the promenade balconies, because I noticed on Oasis of the Seas, the days we were in port, it would get really hot if you were in the Central Park balcony. Whereas World America, the promenade always, I guess that split is just so wide, you always get some sort of breeze. So I would say in regards to balcony enjoyability, I would give it to World America. Now, what they could possibly work on with those promenades balconies is it gets pretty loud. There were some evenings that if I decided, like towards the end of the cruise, I was preparing myself to get back to work. So I decided to, retire to my cabin at like 9 o'clock, lay in bed, read, watch the news. And the music was going until midnight. And nobody was really out there, but like the music be going till midnight. Then something weird, almost a few days, maybe like 3 of the 7 days at about 4 o'clock in the morning, they would start like banging or some sort of moving materials around, and that would wake me up, and that would happen for like an hour. I would go back to sleep, and then eventually would start my day. So that's kind of like the only quirk I would say about the World Promenade. One of the people who were on the preview selling said that the noise from the World Promenade was just kind of like ambient noise, kind of like a sleep machine. That was not accurate for me. It was one night I got up and like I made sure that the balcony was actually closed, because sometimes you don't pull that lever. It lets a lot of extra noise in. No, it was a lot of sound coming into my cabin from that. So I would just say if you are a light sleeper, you might want to stay away from World Promenade. But if you are also kind of like, what I liked about it was I could be on my balcony and still feel like I was in the mix, where like Central Park balconies on like Royal, you don't really get to see a lot of the people. You don't get to, it's not a lot of movement. Whereas that World Promenade just feels like you are still in the mix on the cruise ship, but, a little more action, but it can be noisy. And I got lucky because my balcony could see the promenade and it could see the ocean from where I was. It was cabin 12226. So drop that tidbit there. Going to talk more about from getting on board to the last day, but let's get back into more comments. But I had to take a tangent to talk about the room category a little bit. Fox's Dance is going to Eastern Caribbean. That's her sailing for they're on Sunshine. Hey, C, love the MSC content. Thank you, Marilyn Mel Tibbs. I'm happy you enjoyed it. I was trying not to be too hard on myself. Again, this is the first time ever doing editing while on the ship. And again, shout out to the creators who do multiple inaugurals and they're getting the views, because editing on the ship is not for the faint of heart. You don't know if the internet's going to work. I didn't have like all of my things. Like I didn't have my microphone. I had a microphone, but like I didn't have the microphone that I usually do my voiceovers with. It was harder to see like some of the clips. So I already knew that whatever I produced was going to be like a rough cut, but I knew that like it was imperative for me to get something out within a day or two of being on board. I would have probably got it out a little faster, but I think one night I got back to my cabin. I can't remember if it was internet or something had slowed me down. I think I had to download some music or something. So that slowed me down a little bit. But I was able to get content out, I believe, within the first 2 days. I actually sat at home and watched it because, again, it's weird watching on your phone. So I like to watch my videos like on a TV. So I appreciate like the first look kind of experiences. It was almost like it visually almost like I was live streaming how raw of a cut it was. So I think I'm going to keep the strategy that I did in my back pocket to maybe try again. But that video has my first look video has about 9.3 thousand views. So, and I accumulated, I think I got on the ship with like 3,600 subs, and we are now at 3,800 subs. So it wasn't my best, but it definitely brought the folks in. So thank you. I'm happy y'all enjoyed it. And I'm happy that y'all who like know me know that like, okay, I could edit a little better. I'm not super editor, but a piece of me had to take, some of the, creative, had to be easy on myself. And welcome in. Well, we got 53 people here. My name is Carlene. This is my channel, Stay with C, where every Monday at 7 p.m. we have some content for you, whether it be a live, a trip announcement, or a premiere. And today I am fresh off of MSC World America and talking about my 7-day experience on the inaugural for MSC World America. So drop any questions you have. I am going to go day by day-ish, but just kind of going off of some of the comments that I initially see. Edward Strand says, so you answered one of my questions. Cliffhanger, would you do it again? Absolutely, I would do Cliffhanger again. I wouldn't mind riding it again. I wrote it twice, pretty much back to back. Well, probably a few minutes apart. But my legs, like both times, my legs just started shaking because it's something about, again, that backswing when you're coming forward. It looks like you could just face plant right into the ground. But if anything, it wasn't. It was more of my nerves that were getting me, which I don't have. I'm not super afraid of heights, but it was something about the mechanical swinging, and it didn't make my stomach drop. But I think that like self-preservation, like my hands were holding on to them bars, and I was very purposeful. I held them to the bars that were out. So I don't know, it was like self-preservation kind of kicked in. All the adrenaline was going, but it wasn't a bad ride, but there is a level of like thrill in it for sure. But to answer that, yes, I would do Cliffhanger. I would do Cliffhanger again. I could actually see them possibly making Cliffhanger for free. So they charge $5 for Cliffhanger, which initially I thought they were going to be charging like $10 for Cliffhanger. They charge $5 per ride. So I wrote it twice. The thing to be mindful of is you'll see in the video, there's an orange shack for MSC. Anything up in the World Harbor area, anytime you get on a slide, anytime you get on bumper car, anything that could possibly result in injury, you have to go to the orange cart to do the waiver, and then they'll give you a wristband that you can wear for the rest of your cruise, and that clears you to ride all the water slides, the drop, everything, the ropes course, all the thrill rides. So make sure you do that before you go stand in line. I noticed when I was on Jaw Drop, waiting for Jaw Drop, I think I waited too late to ride Jaw Drop because people had already got back on board in Puerto Rico. So I had a little bit of a wait. And one of the dads was in line, and he missed the memo about getting the waiver. And so he was, about to go into a verbal exchange with the team member, with the crew member about getting on it, because he was like, where's your wristband? So the crew member just was like, hey dude, like no worries, just go, but just be mindful you need to get your wristband. So make sure that you all as seasoned travelers, whenever you do anything related to MSC, they're going to make you do a waiver. So do that first so that you don't get in line, stand in line for 15 minutes, and that crew member might not be as nice, because what if he went down a slide, hurt himself, he didn't sign the waiver? That crew member is up the creek. MSC Adventures is reminding y'all, hit that like button, everybody. Please hit the like button for me. Greatly appreciated. Who else? Team Reese is in the building. Team Reese is, are you homie. Are you still on Aqua? I think Team Reese on Aqua. They talking about creators getting on these ships and working. Team Reese got on board Aqua, and within the next day, they had their first embarkation blog out for Norwegian Aqua. So it was a tough decision, kind of. They staggered these ships in an interesting way between MSC. Like, this was the first time, and that's why I remember I booked MSC, Aqua rolled out, and I was just sitting there like, well, which one is going to make sense for me to get on? And I knew I could not do 7 days and tag on another. So it was like a lot of creators were kind of dividing and conquering, unless, like, the creators who are, their job is full-time, they're, on these ships. But a lot of us were making decisions like, do I do MSC? Do I do Aqua? What about y'all? Like, if you had to pick an inaugural because the two overlap, would you have picked MSC World America or would you have picked Aqua? Put it in the chat. Let me know. MSC Adventure says it made my stomach drop. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I hate the stomach drop feeling. I really hate the stomach drop feeling. It just made me feel like I was going to like face plant into the port, and that bar holds you in, but it was just something about like all of my sense of self-preservation like kicked in, and but yeah, I avoid stomach drop like the plague. I hate little hops, pops, anything like on Disney, like that. Like amusement parks, I'm watching everybody's Epic Universe vlogs, and I'm sitting there like, ain't nothing I can ride in Epic Universe. On Go Yo says, ooh, I would love that stomach drop roller coaster feel. Everybody had, I guess, different, what is it, sensations. I didn't feel stomach drop. Like, I probably felt more stomach drop on like a Tiana's Bayou, or what did I ride? Little pops on what's that thing, Tron, than I did on the Cliffhanger. Because if I think somebody had told me, like, MH, if you had put on your video that it makes your stomach drop, I would have not got it. Probably have talked myself out of getting on it, because I hate that. And then the fact that like you go back and forth for a minute would have drove me nuts. Who else you got? Sig Soul Cruises. Hey Sig, welcome in. Folks are speaking to Sig. Regina's here. So the camera woman with the mostest, Regina's here, popping in before a meeting. But Regina's who, if you all are in the vlog and you see full body footage of me, that's Regina doing her camera work. So thank you, Regina. Gina's World says that Cliffhanger looks awesome. I'm excited to try it. Definitely give it a try. I would just say, like, try to do it on, I don't like lines. I have a strong aversion to lines. And if it's too much of an inconvenience, I don't want to do it. So it was perfect to do it at Puerto Rico because there was no one waiting in line. The first sea day was atrocious. It seemed like everybody went to go ride Cliffhanger on the first sea day. So I had, Puerto Rico is not my favorite port. So I literally stayed on board to try some of the thrill rides without all of the what is it called? The waiting, and then the people complaining and all that stuff. Image Merchant said she did 20 seconds. And I definitely kept that strategy in my pocket, Rockwell, where I was like, I know that if I said I have had enough, this guy is supposed to let me down. And but the second time he was like, you are staying on for this full minute. Now I feel like the first time he had let me stay on for that minute, because I was kind of like, all right, I'm good. And he was kind of like, huh? I was like, I'm good. Like, you can bring me down. And he was like, you sure? I'm like, okay. So that was like, all that question was like 10 more seconds. So I feel like I might've got to the minute the first time, but definitely like the second time he was like, no, I'm not bringing you down. And so I was like, well, is there any way that you can leave me up here longer? Cause I'm like, we can't make that a deal. Like, I don't want to be up here for 2 minutes. And he said, no, it's only a 1 minute ride. So, and she said, I did that 20 seconds. It's like, I was fine when it went up. I was fine with the first 2 subtle rocks. But when it starts like going, so again, that parallel backswing, I was just like, Jesus. And yes, thanks Regina for recording. Steph Stone says, I would get in trouble because I know they say no phones in a ride, and I would definitely try to sneak it on to record myself. They offer, if anyone knows in the chat, I did not find that out. So they offer, I believe there's a camera there, which is kind of like in this age. I mean, it probably has a view that like I would not have captured. I don't know. I watch travel sprees. I try not to watch too many people's like vlogs because I want to make sure that whenever I edit the vlogs, which should be soon, but whenever I edit vlogs, I don't want like a lot of, not say noise, but like a lot of other people's perspective, like clouding like my creative process. So I've been trying to minimize watching other people's content on World America until I have edited at least my first, probably my whole series, but at least like my first vlog, because I kind of want to like not feel the pressure. But I watched Travel Sprees. No, it wasn't their vlog. I was like, I did not watch the vlog. I watched their their real Instagram post. They had a wonderful shot on Instagram. So I'm not sure if Thane had rigged like the 360 on the side. He got a really good view, or if they had purchased what the shoot is, like the footage from there's a camera like right in front of you. That was a beautiful view for sure, but I'm not sure how they got it. They purchased it, and then if they purchased it, what the cost is. But they have an amazing like nice bird's eye view of them on the what is the thing called, Cliffhanger. But yeah, I was literally like, Steph, I was like, take my shoes. I took my lanyard off. I should have mic'd myself up because I had a lot of commentary that I found hilarious, that I can like read my lips and know what I was saying, but I just didn't want like my phone to shoot out and like somebody gets taken out because I was being selfish. So Ken Hill says, gotta get my courage up. Yeah, just do it on a day that there's no line. Because if you do it on a day there's no line, I was cool until the little girl started panicking when she was riding. And like she was the only one of the four that was panicking. I think she was like starting to get nauseous. I don't know. But I was cool until I saw her freak out. And then I started getting nervous. So then when they came off, I asked the granddad, I was like, does it make your stomach drop? And he was like, no. He's like, but he said, it is intense. It like in a sense of just that whole perspective of like, you are swinging over the side of a ship. And it's like a mechanical swing. It's not a gentle swing until it starts calming down. But I was like, I got super chats that I gotta get through. Crazy Homebodies girl is here. Mickey's Adventures here. Thank you, Mickey's Adventures 2 for donating to the fund. My neighbors Together We Travels here. Fox's Den is going to On the Sunshine. They're going to Amber Cove, Turks and Caicos, and Half Moon Cay. So that must be like an 8 or 9 day cruise. Good for y'all. Nice itinerary. Sheila White is here saying, hey, C, looking forward to your review. So let's talk about, let me see where y'all are at. So I talked about how I ended up in the cabin I got in. I flew in the day before the cruise because I was like, I'm not doing a 5 a.m. I'm gonna be tired kind of situation. So I flew in the day before, stayed in, and shout out to Leslie Ann, stayed at the Fairfield Inn, West Doral, I think. Very good prices in regards to being close to the airport. They offer a shuttle to the port for like $15 per person or so. And then it was boarding day. Going back to the Fairfield Inn, West Doral, also walking distance, there are some restaurants. So pretty cool, like area if you want to like save some money, but also family friendly in a sense of there are places that you can go eat without being hit over the head with the Miami prices. So Leslie and I did some pre-gaming drinks, and then it was boarding day. So of course, everybody was talking about MSC has built this new state-of-the-art terminal AA, which is all the way at the end of the Miami cruise port. They put so much thought into that terminal in the sense of there are 3 layers for people to get into. Because I don't know if you all have been listening, Miami cruise port has been like chaotic the last probably few weeks in regards to all of the traffic. Like it's been really crazy traffic situations, really crazy other situations that have been backing up traffic. So hold on, I feel like I gotta look at my phone. Like my phone keeps vibrating. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, really crazy traffic situation. So Terminal AA is well thought out because there are 3 ways that you can get in. So if you are in like an executive vehicle, it seemed like, I'm not sure all of their people, was it the Suburbans, they were all kind of down at the bottom. Cruise shuttles come at the bottom, and then you go up. If you are taking a ride share or taxi, you're going to kind of be on the second level. And that's also where Yacht Club tent is, the Blue Yacht Club tent is, as well as the Blue Diamond luggage drop off. Even though people were saying, be careful with Blue Diamond luggage drop off, because sometimes the porters get mixed signals. And people were mentioning in the Facebook group that some people may or may not got luggage. I don't know if that's true. I also found that this sailing, in particular, the Facebook group was like super complainy, if that's the word. And then you'll have a whole different area for if you are parking, it looked like. So I appreciate how everything was spread out. Upon entering the terminal, they do facial recognition. So it's pretty much scan your passport, it recognizes faces. I wasn't sure what the process was if you had a birth certificate, but if you have a passport, it's pretty much you put your passport in, it scans your face, and then you're off to go into the security line, and then over to actually board the ship. Let me get into some more comments before I talk about getting on the ship. Kitty Elliott's here. Hey, Kitty Elliott saying, hey, C. My cruising fan says, hey, somebody got our 2 cabins within a month of sailing. Within a month of sailing. I'm guessing you all mean, the cabins that you all put up. That they booked those. Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody swipes. But I just know that whenever the bidding process came, everybody said the ship was sold out, but there were a ton of cabin categories to bid on. Now they could have possibly not fully sold the ship, or not put the ship to capacity. But I know I had a bunch of cabin categories that I was able to bid on. Now I also know I got offered to bid pretty early, and then there are people in the Facebook group saying like, I didn't get an offer to bid, or they got it really close to sailing. So who else? My cruising family, my bad, Peter. It's saying definitely preferred the promenade balcony on Royal Europa over Royal's boardwalk balcony. Yes, all that big opening, there's a lot of air that comes in, it circulates. I found I haven't had Royal's boardwalk, but I've had the Royal Central Park, and that thing is hot, baby. Like Orlando, it was Orlando in September, and it was getting warm. Mamie Channel's here saying, hey. YFC is in the building. Rowan's in the building. Folks are speaking. My cruising family says, felt like there's more of a view of the ocean from the MSC. Absolutely. And the thing that's different from Royal is, I won't say all of that. Yeah, I can't take that. I was going to say that they all have an ocean view. But definitely from like my cabin 1226, I would say I was able to see, like, if the open back has a picture frame, I was able to see like 75% from like putting my chair in the corner, not even like really pushing it all against the wall or anything. But I just basically turned my chair this way. And I even saw a couple cabins more forward that still seemed like they had a view. So definitely appreciate that about the structure of the World Promenade. Natasha L is here saying, I never tried MSC. MSC World America has to be my first MSC ship. Love your content. You look beautiful. Love your hair. Thank you, Natasha. I would actually say like World America is not a bad entry. Oop, I kicked my printer and it's yelling at me. I would say MSC World America is not a bad entry point into MSC. In regards to activities and, well, I won't say. So that's one of the, like, I guess, I won't say one of the possible cons for me is they're still figuring out, which I guess they will, but they're still figuring out the flow of activities for World America. So I really love how, like, on Meraviglia, they had a pattern that you almost could guess every night. So Meraviglia pretty much was at some point in the evening, every evening, which made it predictable, there was going to be in the, I guess, was that called a promenade? It was interior. So it's basically like an indoor promenade area. It was really open, and it had 3 rings of floors above it that you can kind of look down. So every evening on MSC Memorabilia, folks knew that you were going to have some sort of activity or show or party, family-friendly party in that promenade area. Usually it was like an activity like dancing with the officers. Then they would go into some sort of family-friendly party like a silent disco or the white party. And I talked my hands so much, I'm going to pull my shoulder. And then after that, there was an adults only party. And everybody just knew like the flow for the evening. So therefore, everyone was just like, meet in the World Promenade and go to the family-friendly party. And then you have the club or whatever the adults only party was. For some reason, World America did not flow that way. And so literally Luna Park, which is kind of their like state of the art, this was like a gaming interactive venue, would have these beautiful party displays, but it would probably be like 15 to 30 people in these parties, or people would get into the party and the party would be over very quickly. But the music was good. The decorations in this party were great. But like for some reason, the Luna Park concept was not clicking. Like if you all follow my stories, they had a whole ski party and like the staff came out in ski clothes. They made it snow. That might have had like 50-ish people, 100 people was pushing it. So what I think MSC should do, which is weird, did I get a comment card? Yes. So they might be like, to hell with your comments, because people had a lot of feedback that they expressed a lot in the Facebook group. But I think possibly, I don't think they could do the same like party like they did in the interior. I was wondering if they can do a party in the World Promenade every night at some point, and then encourage people, adults maybe, to go to Luna Park. The only downside I can think about of that is there's not enough egress. I don't know what the egress options are to, like, if we needed to move people quickly from World Promenade out of that space, that could be like a possible liability, or maybe there's some space on the side to get people to egress. The other option would be to have a family-friendly party every night up on the Lido deck. And then it got weird because like the DJs were actually decent. They weren't the seascape DJs. The DJ was actually like paying attention to people and making sure, like, you know, did the music match the crowd's vibe? So the DJs were on point. Well, on point by cruise standards. Still not the pinnacle, but like they weren't like no DJ Q or DJ Taj. They weren't like that. But I would give them a solid like 8. But it was like the activities just weren't flowing. So like the nightclub was the Panorama Lounge. You would get to the Panorama Lounge and, you know, be a handful of people there. Let's see. What is this? Oh, okay, so I'm talking about the flow of like events and parties. Like for some reason there was a little bit of breakdown in there, so I'm guessing they would like fix that. I told Dr. Eden, I know he was looking at me like I didn't ask you for your opinion, but I was telling him, I was like, I think y'all should do the white party and then make the ski party adults only. People would be in white, so that would be a whole kind of like vibe, you know, or have the white party and then the glow party right afterwards because people are in white, to make some of those kind of things flow. So that's just FYI about some of the flow of, what is this thing called, the activities. Rowan is here saying, I'm on the World America. Which one? World America or Europa. I'm on the Brazilian now. I'll be in Morocco in 5 hours. Love Morocco. Been there 3 times. If you are a spa person, go to hammam. And I recommend that for men and women can do a hammam. Drink some Moroccan tea. Eat some couscous. Eat some, what else? Drink some Moroccan mint tea, couscous, something else I'm missing from Morocco. Oh, go to the souk, the Medina area. But yeah, enjoy your time in Morocco. And I've heard they're supposed to be enhancing the Casablanca cruise port at some point. So it's supposed to become a bit of more of a destination versus getting to Marrakesh. Mamie Channel says, I've been on Seascape before and can't wait to go on World America. Cool. Yeah. Oh, if you've been on Seascape and you like Seascape, you're going to definitely love World America. To date, Seascape has not been my favorite ship at all. I don't know what was going on with Seascape, but it was just like, I didn't like the adults only area in Seascape. I didn't like the food situation in Seascape. It was not my favorite cruise. I didn't like really the layout of Seascape. But if you love Seascape, then you're going to like World America. They just got to figure out how to make since they have so many activities, like make all of the activities flow or figure out profiles for people to flow. Who else we got here? Okay, so back to the question. I'll pose the question of if you had to pick an inaugural since MSC and Norwegian Aqua, overlapped. Their inaugurals overlapped. Would you have picked MSC or Norwegian? And here we go. We got On the Go Yellow says, I would have picked MSC. Sig says, I would have picked MSC. On the Go Yellow says, I don't think I'm ready for Norwegian yet. Team Reach just got home. Oh, damn. Janice Rose says anything but MSC. They are on their do not sell list. Ooh, Jesus. Team Reese says, and I honestly would have rather done MSC, but the 5-day work for race schedule, I would have to do MSC on my own. Yeah, definitely get on World America, and hopefully the prices are still right. I haven't price checked World America in a bit, but I know when I booked her 2 years ago, the price for a 7-day cruise for $1,059, the price was super right. Oh, of course, Uncle Eddie is like, do I really need to answer this question? Which one would I choose? If he had a choice, he would choose the inaugural MSC cruises all day. Folks are speaking. Uncle Eddie says, so are you going to book another cruise on World America? I would totally get on MSC World America for sure again. So usually if I'm like, I will get on a ship again, that means I had a decent enough time. There were some things that I didn't get a chance to do because I didn't want to like pack in so much stuff and feel super overwhelmed. So I did not do the spa situation. And I did not get on the water slides or do the ropes course or do the bumper cars or the roller skating. So I still have a bunch of stuff that like I still need to do on World America. But and we were trying our asses off to figure out how to get into the secret spot on MSC World America. But it was just not working for us. We were seeing other people get in, but we were trying. So I would definitely get back on World America because I want to see some things. Now, usually for me, a cruise ship only has like 2 chances tops. Not 2 chances, but like I'm a ship person. So I don't want to go on a ship more than like twice. But if I didn't really like it, like I don't have to get on Seascape ever again. Meraviglia, maybe I would get on again, but there's certain ships like Prima I would get on again. But it's so many ships that look like Prima, so I'm like, okay, I'll get on Viva or get on Aqua. But World America, I would definitely, if I say I'm gonna give it one more try, not in a bad way, but like if I would get back on a ship, then that means that there's still some things I want to do. So absolutely. Lisa T saying, hey Lisa T, welcome in and welcome. We had like 200 new subscribers over like the last week. So welcome to everybody who's new to the channel. We have all that MSC content plus other travel content plus more cruise content. Lord, I still have Celestial Journey to crank out. I still have a Carnival Conquest vlog to crank out. I still have South Africa to crank out. So lots of travel vlogs coming your way. Janice Rose says, on the Go with Yellow, we celebrated my mother's 85th birthday on the Getaway, and her birthday dinner was ruined by them. Oh, long story, never again. Oh no. So yeah, I can see how, like, I think I had an amazing time on Prima, but I just keep hearing a lot of people are having like just not good times on Norwegian. And it's to the point that I'm just like, I want to get back on Norwegian to see what the issue folks are having, but like to mess up an 85th birthday, you don't get too many birthdays. So that's unfortunate. Did they compensate y'all at all? I need to wet my whistle. Who is this? Chosen 1619. That's a really woke username. Says, are you single? I'm a good man and you got good vibes. Now, you could be self-saying that you are a good man. But I am single. But I only can tell vibes in person and not via YouTube. So thank you for that. If we ever cross paths, say hello. Maybe we can chat and, you know, see how things go. But appreciate your super chat. Thank you for the compliment. And I'm curious on this 1619. Like, this has anything to do with 1619 project? You sound super woke. Who else we got in here? Okay. On the Go Yellow says, sorry to hear that Gina's people, yeah. Shiro is here saying, looking forward to trying both in the upcoming week. Hope I don't chicken out. Oh, Shiro, you're getting on board. Yes. Try both, report back, and let us know. On the Go Yellow says, I don't think I can do the slides. I have a fear of getting stuck in enclosed slides. Now, listen, that dang jaw drop, getting stuck is not an option because literally that thing has you flying. So it makes sure we should talk about the terminal. Very nice. It feels like you're almost in like a European airport. It's also just very efficient. I will say though, like the terminal did not match the vibe when you got on the ship. So it went from immediately smooth sailing terminal, brand new smell, looked clean, looked amazing, moved pretty efficiently. I gotta sneeze. To immediately boarding the ship, we ran into a backlog. So that kind of took a couple of points away of like, this terminal has me all like, all right, MSC, we're getting on your newest and biggest and best ship, to like immediately. And I didn't even notice until I think I popped in like a Team Reach Travels, and I think Parker's Gonna Go was mentioning like, was your first view walking into an elevator bank? And I was like, that was the first view. I didn't realize. So yeah, they're gonna have to figure out how to reduce the, what is it called? Backlog. Now, I'm not sure if this is like backlog because they were trying to get media sailing people off still. A lot of them weren't like cruisers. So like reminding people like you got to be up out of the cabin by 8, those kind of things. But it immediately went from super efficient to traffic jam. And it was a traffic jam on the gangway. Then it was a traffic jam right when you're about to board, they had to stop. Then when they let you on, it was like another stop. And so basically I just decided like, find me the first step. So I didn't get that like wow factor. My first impression was like, save yourself, go up some steps. The terminal is massive. And so you walk through a massive terminal to then walk through a pretty extensive gangway. So if you like, I know my mom would need assistance with that. She has heart situation, so she gets pretty exhausted pretty early. Fatigued pretty early. So that would be a lot of walking for my mom. It's weird. I did not see a ton of scooters, but yeah, you might have to do like a wheelchair assist or something like that. I immediately, like, I think now, like, it's different to me traveling by myself, but then like I sometimes, because of some of the comments that you all make about like accessibility, particularly you, Miss Sydney, and then MH Family Adventures is really good at this, which I have a point about accessibility in a second. I now start thinking a little more about like, what would it be like to do this sailing with my mom? I actually was going to invite my mom because she was on spring break from a school. She works in a school system. So she was on spring break last week, and I was going to be like, oh, it'd be cool to like, just be like, hey, Ma, like get to Miami, like let's fly. And then I already had the room covered. But that size of ship, I already knew she was going to tell me no, because she doesn't like, it makes her winded. So it's a huge terminal. So may have to figure out like a wheelchair assist situation. T. says, is the Royal Promenade the whole length of the ship? Are you talking about the Royal Promenade or Royals Promenade? I feel like is Royals Promenade the actual length of everything? It's just an indoor component, an outdoor component, with a door. Is that true? It's been so long since I've been on an Oasis class ship. I feel like does it run the length? Somebody else answer that question. I feel like yes. The World Promenade, it goes through a door. I'm trying to remember shoot myself. It feels like I think you enter like another elevator bay. I can't remember. But it wouldn't be able to, like in regards to how the Meraviglia was, how their promenade ran the length of the ship, and you can just look down without having the interruptions. It was different from that for some reason. Okay, thank you. So does the World Promenade run the whole length of the ship? I feel like no, it's just like that back part. Like there's a door you come out of, it will say World Promenade, and there's an archway. Oh, it's coming to me now. No, it doesn't. I had to remember. So you come by the excursions desk. It's just the back part of the ship that World Promenade runs on. Because I'm remembering now having my camera and I was walking around. There was a staircase off to the right of me. Then you make a left by the excursions desk. And then, yeah, it's just the back side of the ship is how World Promenade runs. Thank you for seeing. I had to like jog my memory because you just get in the flow of things, but totally forgot. Who else we got here? Chosen was definitely shooting their shot or his shot. I was like, I don't know who. Okay, so yes, Chosen was shooting all the shots, and thank you for the $1.99 super chat, Chosen. Travel, yes, is in the building. And not the balloon pop. I can't take you. Folks are entertained. I agree. Thank you. Good brothers need good sisters. Amen. But I got a live stream to run, friend. Where is the non-hookup post? Yes, Black love is beautiful. Thank you. Oh, this is a new one. Hey, Red Afro, saying hello to see in the chat. Steph Stone says, I actually just price checked World America, and it's definitely still more affordable than any other new ship from other cruise lines. And that is a selling point for MSC World America. It is going to be the biggest ship that you can get on for its price point. There is no other ship the size of World America that you're going to be able to get on for the price that you see for World America. And I'm like, I know, was it May is Teachers Appreciation Month. So there's, they give you like a 5% discount for educators. There's a discount for, I believe, like fire, EMS folks, police. I'm missing one. I think military folks. So MSC has a bunch of, and maybe even nurses too. I'm trying to remember if that was a thing. But MSC has a lot of discounts for, people who help others as a profession, which I believe is like 5%. So you may want to try getting on it. Ken Hill says, MSC hands down, hopefully will go to the ABC Islands in the future. We'll see. Mario has a question. Did you ever eat at the buffet? Yes, I probably ate at the buffet more than I ate in my main dining room time. So I had an early dining time that I had a 5 p.m. dining. And if you know me, when I'm on the ships, I am a very much outdoor cruiser. So whenever I'm in my vibe, in my zone, I just stay outside all day. And if I get hungry, like if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to my cabin, take a shower, get changed, like I'll go to the dining room. If I'm vibing outdoors, then I'm going to probably go to the buffet and then like transition to my room for the evening and the evening activities. So I ate at the buffet a lot. And I will say the buffet, very spacious. Love the color, because I told y'all I really hate that MSC has like all the brown everywhere. The buffet was very chic. They have a deep blue and like all of these ornaments. It was giving, I don't want to say that, but it was almost like a restaurant vibe. The buffet never felt crowded. It has 2 floors. So my tip, one morning I got up was that late? I can't remember. But one morning I got up late and they were like, what did they say? I got up late. And I guess the buffet on 18, the buffet on 18 got super crowded. And I guess they were kind of just like, not super crowded in a bad way, but they were kind of like, well, let's not overwhelm the people on 18. So they started sending people up to the buffet on 19. I got to the point that I only wanted to eat on 19 because it was real serene. I can walk up without waiting. But the food has gotten so much better. The fish, because the first time I had MSC, where was that? It was in Maryville or Seascape. Maybe both of those. I had like objects that I shouldn't have had in my food. I didn't make us think about it, but I can't remember if it was Maryville or Seascape. One of those I had some kind of meal, and you can definitely tell that how like the can opener has shards. I found like a shard of like from the aluminum can in one of my meals. And then the other one I got some, fish, and there was like bones in it. I did not encounter any food quality issues. I could have like taste issues, not saying there was a ton of them. Like the worst thing I probably ate was they had a lobster bisque that reminded me of Royal Caribbean Steakhouse's lobster bisque that's like real fishy with no lobster in it. That was probably the worst thing I ate all week. But they definitely are moving, and I would say have moved in the right direction when it comes to MSC's buffet. I had a skirt steak. I had a pork chop. They have some Mediterranean options, but it's not Mediterranean heavy. It's just one section of the buffet. So people, I think, were getting overwhelmed by like, what is that? I don't know what that looks like. There were a lot of, on previous sailings. On this sailing, there was definitely like European options, but then they would sprinkle it with like tacos and pasta, and they had vegetables, Kristen. I don't even know if Kristen's in here, but we were having issues with cruise ships having vegetables and fresh fruit, lots of fresh fruit on their buffet. So I would say MSC did that with the buffet, girl. Who else you got in here? So yeah, I ate the buffet probably more than I ate in the main dining room. And then I did all of the specialty dining options minus Kaito Sushi. But Kaito Sushi, they have it in the teppanyaki spot as a starter, kind of. So I tried pretty much all the specialty dining. Jaretha Parker says, hey, C in chat. Hi, Jaretha. Thanks for coming here. Jaretha, I did your assignment. Drink lots of wine, girl. Check, and double check. Chosen 619 says, okay, we're on to a different topic. That's not C's love life. And that is, which cruise port cities are the best to sail out of? I really like, for affordability, I would send you out of Orlando or Fort Lauderdale. If you want more options, you would probably go out of like Miami. But I think as a person who has to fly to my cruise ships a lot, I prefer a quick little Orlando situation, because I know I can get a cheap flight or fly to Fort Lauderdale. It tends to be cheaper than heading all the way down to Miami. I often try to tell my clients, depending on like if they're a client who's like they're budget conscious, I'm usually going to try to send them to Orlando or Fort Lauderdale first. Probably, and it's usually going to be Orlando because I think Orlando has more family-friendly ships compared to Fort Lauderdale. In regards to unique views, I'll send you out of New York. Very beautiful sail away. Leave it out of like the Manhattan Cruise Terminal in particular. Bayonne, not so much. As well as Brooklyn, not so much. But go out of the Manhattan Cruise Terminal if you want like a unique sail away experience. My Chris Ryan says, congrats on subscribers. Thank you. It helped me accelerate. I'm getting closer to my goal. I had my little goal for the year was to get 1,200 subs over a course of a year. So I'm really on pace now. Chosen says, which cruise line do I think is best for price? MSC, Carnival, or NCL? Definitely not NCL. Carnival slipping on prices. MSC will get you like people have been doing 3 days on MSC for like $198. Like you can get down on the seashore for like $300. So I would say MSC for price. Now your issue is going to be, do you want price and vibe? And if you want price and vibe, I might send you to Carnival, but that MSC shore was kind of fun. when I went on it. Lots of good music, good vibes, people who are really like hanging out and partying. Oh, y'all did the balloon pop on the man. The moderators be moderating, friends. Y'all got sick of the of Chosen. Oh, Kid Hill says she's mine. Not y'all fighting in the chat now. Phil was the one who snatched Chosen. That's why my phone was going off. I'm like, my phone is going off for a reason, but if I look at it, I'm gonna get distracted. That was funny. And then so we had a little virtual balloon pop today. Thanks, Phil. Who we got? Sig the Solo Cruiser says, I say if you had a good time on Prima, don't go back again. Looking to see what others found wrong. You'll likely find something. I have not taken NCL off my list. I actually was looking at NCL Aqua for my birthday trip, but then I reminded myself that I have already made another trip my birthday trip. Why I got Google notifications? So yeah, I would definitely give. I feel like I don't want to do Viva because I feel like Prima is going to be a spinning image of Viva, so I do want to just hop over Viva and go straight to Aqua. But I have a feeling that Viva's price is going to be cheap right now because Aqua is out there. Phil is blocking. Oh, Jesus. We just lived through a live balloon pop episode, I guess, friends. Or what, Love is Blind, the cruise ship edition? Child. All right, let's get back into the chat. Finally, somebody snatched it before Shiro, because usually Shiro is the one that be snatching people out the chat real quick. Trish's Thomas Travels is here. Trish was on the preview sailing. She says the face scanner went down as we were getting off the preview. Thank you, Trish. Knowledge is power. So that's why we had a bit of a backlog. They were doing the facial recognition went down while the previewers were getting off. So that backed some things up. It was, yeah. I mean, I guess I understand the lines of the face scanner, but the backlog was happening right when you enter the ship. It was almost like they needed another gangway. But you would enter the gangway, it would back up, and then they would like stop letting people on for a bit. They had to wait for the gangway to clear. So the first sensation of getting on the ship wasn't relaxation. It wasn't like, oh, I'm on a cruise. It was, I'm stuck in a line. I'm stuck in this bank. And I immediately just went up a side stair. So I never got it took a while for me to get the wow factor. I had to climb a couple of flights of steps to kind of get to deck 8 to get away the backlog. Y'all are laughing at Phil. YFC is in the building. MH says Royal Promenade usually opens up to the Central Park, right? I'm trying to remember. The boardwalk? I don't remember. Yes. So but I'm trying to remember. So then how far you have to go to get to the part that has the, what is it called? The, I'm doing this. The Ferris wheel, not the Ferris wheel. Yeah, that thing. The carousel. There we go. I've only been on Oasis, and I'm trying to remember what the whole process was like walking down the promenade. Maybe if you keep walking, then it goes into the boardwalk. I'm trying to remember. MH's World Promenade is the outside, and World Galleria is in the inside. Yes. Trish says World Promenade is only on the back of the ship. Yep. They put Phil in timeout. Hey, lady, yo, welcome in. We got another question here. Modest D says, is the MSC World America the same size as Royal Oasis class ships? I just heard, so that's the thing. I heard that World America is supposed to be like the 8th largest ship in the world. When I fact checked that, I was basically coming across like there were a bunch of like royal ships ahead of even World America. I would say like some parts of World America look just like almost Seascape. It's just that they made her wide, or Seashore and Seascape, they made her wider. So who has the stats on World America? Is she the same as an Oasis class ship? Because she kind of looks like almost like the seashore-ish, but just a wide split in the middle. Who knows the facts? Run the receipts. Traveling Stews are here saying hey to everyone. MSC Adventure says yes, the food was definitely way better on World America, especially the buffet. Definitely agree with that. I lived in the buffet. Like, I would just get tired of lounging around. I'm like, I'm going to buffet. That, and I don't have to hear the words pizza or burger for like the next 10 years. Because every night it was like, all right, I'm going to Pizza Burger. So that was good. They listened and basically had the pizza in the Pizza Burger spot. I thought I wasn't going to like because I thought they were just going to have pizza and burgers. Pizza Burger had the good pizza. They had focaccia bread in like different kind of flavors. They had wings every night. They had nachos. They had like a chicken wrap. They had fruit available and raw veggies. They had water. They had ice cream stand in there. So Pizza Burger was a very, very nice touch for those like evenings after the club. Loved it. And it never got super crowded in Pizza Burger, I don't think. Happy you were able to make it here, Life with Lacey. Yeah, girl, you missed the chat just had a whole red balloon pop for me. Mario says, is C still booking Spirit flights at the airport? Absolutely. So I booked the Spirit flight because I'm going to Orlando soon. So yeah, Spirit has grown on me, but I would only do Spirit. I had $131 credit because I was supposed to be going to Houston. Who was supposed to go to Houston? March. So I booked a flight at the airport to go to Houston. I decided not to go to Houston because I think that was like the same weekend as the rodeo. So a friend was having a last minute birthday and Houston was going to run me like $1,000 for to be there for 2 days. So I had $131 credit and I bought my Spirit flight I'm going back to Orlando in May. So I will book a Spirit flight for a weekend. Now, where Spirit loses me is if I have to check luggage, I'd rather go with either Delta or American. But yeah, absolutely book that flight to the airport so you don't have to pay those, fees. Mark Hackett is here saying, what up, C? Happy Monday, sis. Looking to travel to South Africa this year. Favorite place in the world. Any quick suggestions? So we can talk a lot about South Africa. Quick suggestions for South Africa. Just be mindful of when it's hot in the US, it's going to be cold down there. But like, if you want a really cheap ticket going like September, it's going to be a little like fall-ish. My favorite time of the year to go though is December because they are celebrating. Everybody's off work and celebrating the new year. I would mush Cape Town and Joburg in one trip. And let me see. If you go to Cape Town, try to stay in Camps Bay area. But there's also a DoubleTree that's pretty affordable, but Camps Bay will give you kind of the LA vibes. When you go to Joburg, stay in Sandton. And yeah, hit me up offline or email me at CWC if you have any more specific questions about South Africa. I can talk about that a lot. Let me know what vibes you're looking for. Actually, it's funny because the reason why I'm going to back to Orlando is one of my friends is opening up for DJ Black Coffee, which is a South African like DJ. So I'm taking my Spirit credit and heading right down to Orlando to party with my friends for that epic moment. Who we got here? Trisha saying, oh, thank you, Trish, for being the first time in the live. Every Monday at 7 p.m. We're here talking about cruises. Next Monday, I'm hoping it'll be a premiere, but I also can do a trip announcement, I guess. But we'll see. My goal is to make it a premiere. So come chat in the premiere. It should be about a cruise. Folks are speaking. She said Stephanie is enjoying all the cruise talk. Folks are speaking. Thank you. We have a Royal Caribbean expert saying Royal Promenade is on deck 5. Then the Central Park is deck 8. And then the Boardwalk is deck 6. So it's staggered. Thank you, Travel Yes We See. Because I was just like, listen, y'all have my memory stretching maybe a couple of years now. I have not been on a Oasis class ship. I've been on, what is this ship? What's the class ship for Mariner and them? Freedom class? I don't know. I'm telling myself about Royal, but the last Royal ship I was on was Independence of the Seas. So yeah. Who else we got? On the go yellow says yes, you have to go up a couple of decks to the boardwalk and Cinder Park on each end. Let's see. Okay, we got a question. Cheryl had to Google. She says, according to Google, the good girlfriend Google, MSC World America is smaller than Utopia of the Seas. I can see that. That makes some sense. Even though isn't Utopia... Wait, Utopia should be a little bigger than Wonder. But yeah, it was so... I felt like MSC World America was kind of giving the same... It felt like Seascape, Seashore, maybe a little more walking, but it was really that she was wide versus like longer. Stephanie says she loves SA. If you can't experience a safari, do it. Yeah, if you want to do a safari, it's going to be a little further out, but they have some nature reserves, which is kind of cheating, but you're going to see the big five all in one place, and they're going to serve champagne. So depends on like what vibe you want. Red Apple says, oh my God, I love black coffee. Have fun. Yes. Yep. I have a friend who, is opening up for DJ Black Coffee in Orlando. So I will be heading back to Orlando very soon to get my little taste of South Africa and the United States on. All right, so we were talking about what else? World America. We talked about food. We talked about boarding. I talked about my room and how I got that room. I'm trying to see. I talked about like the flow of the parties and those activities. Sail Away, I guess, was kind of weird in a sense. I was expecting like Reverend Dr. E did a really great job on Seashore. And I think the way the Seashore Lido deck was very conducive to like the party kind of spreading across the whole Lido. I was in the back of the Lido deck on World America, and it seems like if you want to be a part of the party vibe, go right to the front of the stage. And there was about 50-ish people partying up there. But everybody in the back was kind of like really reserved in loungers and watching. My favorite spots of the ship on World America were definitely, the Lido got incredibly crowded. So that's the FYI. On sea days, the Botanic Garden got very crowded too. So I would say the pool area is going to get very crowded, and the adults only area. It seemed like everybody just flocked to the outsides, the pools. The earlier days, I was able to get like one of the day beds, the free day beds, in the adult only area. It was actually adults only a small glitch for design. You might see some kids walking through the adult only area because they're going to the Bridge of Sighs. So that clear bridge that you can kind of see, I guess, I don't know, it's clear. I think you can see down into the World Promenade. So every now and then you'll see a kid come through because their parents are walking them to like that little bridge. But for the most part, when I was in that area all day, there were no children. If you are in the adults only area, be mindful. On the left-hand side on the back, I think that's where the smokers are. So some people were flocking to the pool that was on the right side for the adults only area. But I was sitting like right in front of some smokers. I didn't smell anything. So I'm not sure if people were really smoking or just basically kind of like they just wanted anywhere to sit. But just be prepared. It seems like the left side is going to have some ashtrays, so you might have a smoker. It seemed like the right side, I didn't go see, but I don't believe the right side. The right side may or may not have had ashtrays. So just might want to look for that if you don't like smell of smoke. What else? I did not lounge on the Lido. I just did Reverend Dr. E did a lot of great line dancing classes. He taught folks, a bunch of variety of line dances. He taught, and he really was able to break it down for folks. So it was very inclusive line dancing experience. So those of you who might be a little rhythmic challenge, you can get into the line dance experience. I did not lounge on the Lido deck because I just went for line dancing because every time I would try to lounge on Lido, it was just too many people. You only could really find a chair. I could never find like a true lounger. The Botanic Garden area, be careful. MH Family Adventures, I know, Rockwell, you were like, hey, I had to pull back out my water shoes. Well, Rockwell, you were spot on with that, girlfriend, because at some point in the cruise, they had to put out signs telling people to be careful when walking down the Botanic Garden pool stairs. Apparently, Facebook could have been exaggerating, but I heard like maybe 20 people had fallen into the pool because for some reason those steps are slippery. So hopefully, and that's one of the things about like inaugurals, which y'all kind of have to be careful too. The ship is not fully shaken down, so when they kind of come for like an inaugural, like you get to see the ship in full bloom. So they immediately within the first day or two had to put extra signage at the Botanic Garden steps to enter the pool. And I think somebody also said the steps going up got pretty wet throughout the day from the Botanic Garden and people like jumping in and out of the pool. So that area, be mindful. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point, you know, they might figure out how to drain the pool and add some strips or something to kind of, or ridges to kind of take away the slipperiness. But people were mentioning in the Facebook group falling. And like one lady was like, she was bruised and pretty sore after busting her butt trying to get into the pool. And then she mentioned some people had fallen down the steps because the Botanic Garden is like 2 layers with all the extra water, people running out the pool, going up and down the steps, slipping. So that area, be careful. I mentioned accessibility. And something that MSC might have to pay attention for in the US market. I noticed one morning at the buffet, there was a lady who was a wheelchair user. She had to ask staff, which is it's a pretty insulting to wheelchair users' independence, but she had to ask staff members to make a plate for her because she could not reach buffet items. So she was, and it was interesting. Shout out to the woman that helped her because one staff member was kind of like not understanding why this woman couldn't just go get her stuff. And then one lady was just like, ma'am, just tell me what you want. But the lady was kind of like, she had to guess what was on the buffet. So she was like, I think you can find me a croissant or something that has fruit in it. So A, shout out to the staff member that helped, but B, MSC might have to look at some of those accessibility needs at the buffet in particular. All right, let me know if y'all have any other specific questions. As I'm probably going to wrap up in a bit. I'm going to talk about a couple more activities, and then I think I covered most of it, unless you all have some more questions about World America that I might have forgot about. Oh, and I got to talk about Ocean Cay because they've made some nice developments there. Cheryl says, thanks, I'm on a budget, but still want a great experience. Oh, if you're on a budget and want a great experience on your ship, definitely Modest D. Consider World America. If you are looking for, I will say, like, depending on if you are okay with like enough activities, it's a good ship. If you are looking for super turn up, it's not going to be that, which is fine. They're still working on, the parties have potential. I feel like I need to say that. But just be mindful of, you might walk into a nightclub and it might be like 20 people. So that's an FYI. But I definitely think it's great value for, what it's offering. They were playing a lot of soca, particularly like when they got on the island. So I'm gonna get to that in a second. Trisha's Thomas Travel says, I feel like World America was copy and paste of World. Yes. So Trish, you were probably one of the first blogs I ever watched of World Europa. So kudos to Trish for that. Because it was out of Dubai. Restaurants were slightly different and they added the sports bar. Yes. And I appreciated the enhancements for sure on World America. The sports bar was a nice touch. Adding all those ice cream venues was a nice touch. Paxos was a surprise for me. I didn't think I was going to like that restaurant as much as I ended up liking that restaurant. I don't think I would necessarily go back to Paxos, but the flavors packed a punch. They were really good. What is Seth Stone says, does MSC have a solo cruiser program or is it solo DIY do it yourself cruise? And that will be a thing for sure. So no. For World America, the solo meetups were they did not have a solo meetup on the first night, which for me as a solo cruiser is problematic because I feel like the first night is the first night, like the best opportunity you can have to connect with folks and meet other solo travelers. So it was, then they had one on the second night, but the planning of it was terrible. The second night was gala night, or which is called formal night. Well, they put the solo meetup on formal night, mind you. They put the solo meetup in Pizza Burger during formal night. So nobody wants to be in your nice stuff. And in the time that they put it, it was like during the captain's toast. It was still pretty early, so you would like, who's going to skip their dinner or especially dining to go to the solo meetup in Pizza Burger? I mean, I think that having a meetup in Pizza Burger would be cute for teenagers. I would have preferred like maybe this champagne lounge for the first meetup on like a gala night, or Elixir, something like that. But and then it was unhosted, so it was do it yourself, which means that there's some element of walking around and asking people, hey, are you here for a solo meetup? So that could be an improvement for sure. I got really, what is it called? I got spoiled on Meraviglia because the same situation happened, but there was a person who was solo and she was just walking around saying like, are you solo? Are you solo? And I felt like she wasn't a serial killer. So I said, yeah. And then it ended up being like 9 of us, but we were all spread out. We ended up being sat at a table together on Meraviglia, but yeah, World America, I didn't do a lot of solo stuff because I was with there were like probably 6 Melanin C people. So I would hang out with them whenever I was like socializing, but just like watching this schedule of events and then watching how I was in the solo group in World America, like the chat, people were mentioning some of those things. So again, like the flow of activities, they're going to have to think and be mindful of, because that was a perfect opportunity. Move those solo cruisers from there to have dinner to then, go to, maybe one of the glow party, whatever the party happened in Luna Park, and then they can go to the panorama room to, after party if they wanted to. Like that would be a flow to actually get the solo people, connected. So I would say that flopped in room for improvement. Maybe it will be better though. I'm still waiting to get my comment card to get feedback, but yeah. Red Afro says Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines tend to be my point of reference. They're my favorite. Cool. But it's definitely going to give World America a try for 2026. And probably the prices are going to be really right in 2026. They also have a World Atlantic coming. So, I mean, I think World Asia is going to drop first. Is that right? Yes, World Asia is going to drop first. And then, which I believe they were actually taking bookings while I was on World America. Then after World Asia comes on board, World Atlantic is going to be coming on board. And that one's going to be selling out of, remember I was telling the 1619 Balloon Pop Man. That will be coming to Port Canaveral. So you'll get, again, cheaper flights to get to the cruise port, and then you'll get a big old ship for MSC. 1 second. Charlotte says, no problem. World America is being small is relative, though. She still has a 6,700 passenger capacity, but it's definitely better for the budget. On the go, Yellow says, oh, wow, she couldn't see what was on the buffet. No, I think, what was that? Here is what I walked into. And this being trained in special education, I was like, oh, shoot, like this is an issue. So I was at, the buffet has a bar. So I was getting a mimosa to go with my breakfast. And there was a lady who was a wheelchair user, and I could just start hearing her explain. And she was like, yeah, if you can just get me a croissant or something like that has fruit in it. And so I was kind of like, initially, I didn't know that the woman was in a chair. I was like, oh, maybe she was like, oh, why is she asking the people for a croissant? And then I looked and I was like, oh, and then in my mind, I thought about how experiencing the buffet. I was like, yeah, she couldn't, like how the croissants were placed, like she wouldn't be able to reach up and over. And in a lot of the food, how it was placed, like she would not have been able to get that and access it. So they're going to have to possibly think about that. But particularly like what she wanted, like the croissants, I think were placed on like a tiered thing and a little more set back. I wouldn't say like all the food. But I'm also like not a wheelchair user, so I don't know, what the process is like. But when she mentioned croissant, I was like, oh yeah, like those were some of the items on the buffet are going to be placed for that. If somebody's having some accessibility needs, or like even limited reach of your arm, like not everybody's arm goes straight out and up, people have limits on certain things. So they're going to have to think about that, particularly if you're going to brand it World America, because we like to sue. Big but it's not about suing. It's really like you want people to have human, feel like humans and not being like a whole adult and having to ask someone to like go make a plate for you. Hey, Big Murph, welcome in. It's okay, Turkisha. I was telling everybody that all the things that I got to try. Thanks y'all for y'all donations. My mouth is getting tired. Signet Solo Cruises. I remember the MSC Seashore. They put the solo meetup on day 2 of a 3-day cruise. Yeah, don't put the solo. You got to put the solo meetup on day 1. Put it minimum day 2 or maximum day 2. But I prefer putting on day 1. I love how Version does it. You get the meetup in, go to the Lido deck party, go to dinner, and then you can keep the party going if you want to. But yeah, they're still falling flat. And then it's weird, and you need to make it hosted again because like security, extra eyes, making people feel comfortable. It's not even like, crazy people out there, but just making people feel comfortable. Like if you put 50 people in a sports bar, half of them are just there to be in a sports bar. Probably 10 of them might be solo cruisers. They don't have a way of identifying each other. So it needs to at least make the first one hosted so that they know, okay, when I come back into this bar, that person's a solo traveler, So that would be my 5 cents. Hey, Leon and Terry's Dream Destinations, welcome in. Trisha Thomas Travel says they definitely have a missed opportunity with World Asia, not starting from Japan or Singapore. It starts in Europe, and Europe already has too many ships. Great point, Trish. Great point. And just like watching the developments that are happening in the Asian cruise market, I mean, Disney, there's a reason why Disney's sending its newest ship to Singapore. That is totally, and for it to be, again, world label and everything's going to go through Europe, that's definitely a miss. Good point, Trish. Definitely point well taken. And Jen Danielle experience is here. Jen also was one of those preview cruises, as well as Trish also has some content out. I think Trish has a ship tour. Jen has like a first look tour for MSC World America, and I know MH has some stuff coming out. I can't remember if Rocco Heller has stuff out or not. I haven't been watching because I'm like, I want my stuff not to be. I'm trying to edit it with like clean eyes. All right, the last point. I'm going to talk about some of the activities. So you all know that Dirty Dancing is the show for World America. FYI. Dirty Dancing has 2 types of shows. The first show will be during the daytime, and it's literally them playing snippets from the movie, and the actors are kind of reacting to it, pop in, they'll do like a little sing dance situation. The evening show is more interactive. It's like a medley of songs. They're dancing throughout the theater. And you get to see like more of the dance and that kind of thing. So just FYI, Dirty Dancing is 2 types of shows. There is an amazing Whitney Houston production, which I was watching Rich and Jazz's stories. I didn't even know it was going to be on board. So I broke my neck and made sure I got to the Whitney Houston tribute show. The young lady who sings is definitely in Whitney's range. Beautiful voice. It's kind of a sing-along. So that was a good time. Some of the things I didn't make it to were I heard the Sensonic, I believe, was good. But what else? Those were the shows. Every night was a theme party in Luna. There was a missed opportunity for the theme party, I think, in Luna. They have to figure out how to get more people to Luna for that. And then last but not least were the wonderful enhancements on Ocean Cay, which kudos again to MSC for making Ocean Cay more of a destination. The Lighthouse Beach now has 2 bars. They have made, I swear, they've made all of the beaches more swimmable in the sense of, like, remember the lagoon used to be really deep? Well, they've raised it. I think you can almost walk out now to those little platforms. And I swear up and down, the Lighthouse Beach wasn't as deep this time as I previously encountered it. They had a steel pan at the lighthouse, which they used to not have, but like on that beach, and they had a DJ. So I thought those were pretty good enhancements. They had the Marine Reserve building that they were touting heavily during the preview, but I kind of felt like that, maybe because I didn't sit and watch the presentation, but I felt like the Marine Reserve kind of fell a little flat for me. But I kind of walked through unguided, so it was just kind of like, oh, you know, it basically tells the story of how MSC took Ocean Cay, which used to be a trash dump, and basically made it a private island destination. So that was pretty much my 7 days on board MSC World America. Let's talk about specialty dining. The steakhouse is still falling flat for me. I'm going to give it an okay, but I don't have to go back to MSC Steakhouse, Butcher's Cut. Italy was cool. I would go back to Italy to try pasta this time. I had the short rib. The teppanyaki spot has been consistently good, I find. And Paxos, if you're looking to expand your palate, try Paxos. Exciting flavors. But they give you a lot of, the mezzes. They give you a lot of the starters. But the main dishes for me, I was kind of like, I guess I got a piece of fish. So I got me some sea bass. So I'm kind of like, Paxos was cool. Paxos was cool. I think it's worth experiencing for sure, because it was delicious. But I'm kind of like, I don't know if I would, like, if I get back on World America, would I break my neck to get to Paxos? But I think if you are getting on it once, definitely go and try Paxos. Hope that helps you. Sharo says the NCL solo program is the one thing that they do right. Plus, the lounge makes for an extemporaneous meetings. Good to know. I don't think I did. I missed the solo experience, I think, on NCL. I'm getting to the point now, sometimes I get on these ships and I'm like, I know people, so I'm not super solo, but I will know to look for the NCL solo program for sure. And Jen says, final comment, Ocean Cay has changed so much from when we were on Seashore. Yes, and even when we got on Seashore, Ocean Cay had made some improvements. So cool. Quick announcements for you all who are like, how can I find you, engage with you, travel with you, etc.? Since we have some important people in the building, I'm going to share my screen. Share a screen. This is the screen. So some of the announcements are free and some of the announcements are not free. Let's start from the top. If you all are interested in, how do I make this bigger? There we go. Of course, there's still time for you to, if you haven't tried Virgin Voyages or want to get back on Virgin Voyages, there is the Good Government Getaway, or the Good Gov Getaway, which is go on vacation. It's August 29th through September 3rd, heading to Dominican Days, itinerary out of Miami on my favorite lady ship, which is the Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. I actually scoped the scene in Puerto Plata, so the things are coming together, waiting for the final payment date to hit so I can have the group solidified and then start sharing with those people who are at least booked by final payment the activities. So that is one option coming up on August 29th through September 3rd that you can sail with me on Virgin Voyages. The next one, since we have Jen, Danielle, and Sig in here, is 2026. So if you can't make 2025, then start saving your ducats, because in 2026, we have the ultimate solo group cruise, which is going to be on Celebrity Reflection, June 22nd through 26th, 2026, with the Jen Danielle Experience and Sig the Solo Cruisers. Your favorite solo cruisers are coming together to host a group cruise. Deposits are $100. Those prices have went up a little more, but let me know what type of cabin you want and I can give you a more accurate quote. Then we have, if you love reading on ships, talking about TV shows, join our Facebook group, which is Ships and Scripts, so that we can chat more about cruise ships, places to read on the ship, etc. And then 2026, you can get on the wait list to travel with me or meet me. So we're going to meet up. We're going to meet up for Epcot Food and Wine Fest, October 9th through 11th, 2026, in Orlando, Florida. Eat and drink around the world with me. You can figure out how to get there. I know a lot of you are travel agents and want to book yourselves. Well, this is the opportunity for you for the Good Gov Getaway 2026. Scan that code, put your information in, and would love to hang out with you in Orlando for Epcot Food and Wine Fest in October 2026. So those are some of the opportunities to hang with me in these cruise streets. And thank you, 67 people, for being here and listening to me run my mouth about MSC World America. If you want to book MSC World America, I can book you. I am a travel agent. Or if you're kind of like, hey, see, what kind of vibe might fit me? Reach out. I'm happy to provide you a free quote in regards to travel, or just give you advice, because somebody in here was mentioning South Africa. Send me a message, because I can give you a lot of tips about South Africa. So yes, it's COC. Thanks for coming to chat with me. The next Monday, I think we're going to have a premiere. So hopefully see y'all in chat with a premiere for a video. If I don't premiere the video, we're going to be chatting live with a trip announcement. So COC, thanks for chatting with me. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good evening.